That was the problem with saving the money. Now, to jump back into my story, at 18 years old, I was already in the highest paid position in the restaurant that I worked at. I had spent 2 years to get to the point that I was at. 2 years of really, really hard work. I never called in sick. I was a person people depended on. I picked up shifts because I wanted to show them that I was ready to take on the responsibility of a server. And it all paid off. And people that work in the service industry, they know this. Like, I worked every holiday. I worked on my birthdays. I worked on other people's birthdays. Didn't matter. I always worked. I worked really, really, really hard. But what was the problem? I was pedaling really hard on a unicycle. The vehicle I was in was wrong. The opportunity that I was in was wrong. Was I making the most money out of the people that worked there? Yes, absolutely I was. I was one of the most highest paid people in there at 18 years old. Impressive? Sure, absolutely. But was I making the most amount of money possible in general? Absolutely not. I was making what a server makes. I just didn't know it because I got a bone to chew on, which was I'm going to become a server. I'm going to be the most highest paid person in there. And I never stopped to think on whether or not this is the bone that I need to be chewing on, whether or not this is the work that I need to be doing to get to where I want to go. Because I felt like I was working so hard. Oh man, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work. And I was working hard. Did the fruits of my labor pay off? Absolutely it did. It got me to become a server, got me to become the highest paid person in that room or in that place. But did it get me that much closer to my goal? Not really. Difficult to see when you're doing it though. Difficult to see when you decide that this is the bone that you're going to chew on and you just chew on that bone. You never stop to think, is this really the actions that I need to be taking day in and day out? Is this really what's going to help me get me to my goal? Whatever your goal is. If your goal is to help your kid become an X, your goal is to you yourself become a Y, or it's to teach your kids how to become financially independent. Whatever your goal is like, are the actions that you're doing right now in service of those things? Or are there other things that you can be doing that don't require as much work that's going to get you the result that much quicker? So here's what I should have done. And maybe I hope that you can maybe think about this because this literally took years of my life. To fast forward the story, I ended up being in restaurant work for a decade. I didn't get out till I was like 27 or something like that, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It was a decade. On and off, mostly on. I worked jobs in between there, but nothing really paid as much as the serving. So what should I have done? What I should have done is all the effort that I took to become a server is I should have taken that effort, taken a step back and try to see where the money was flowing in other industries and get obsessed and try to make a path out of it, which is the reason why Hannah's in here, because that's what we're doing with younger people now. We're trying to help them save the 15 years of attending the school of hard knocks like how we did, right? Because Hannah did the same thing, a decade, pretty much. I think she spent a little bit less time. She's a little younger than I am in the industry, but if you round it up, it's to the decade. Trying to give these 16 to 20-year-olds an actionable career roadmap they can execute to achieve their dreams. Our goal is to teach them the lesson without the scar. Thinking about for myself, I was obsessed with video games at the time. I maybe could have been a video game designer or a video game tester, or even right now, possibly a streamer, which is a job now. And they make a lot of money depending on who you are and depending on the brand deals that you get. This is going to sound bad. I was obsessed with gambling. I think of like trading stocks as gambling as well. For people that have kids or they are obsessed themselves with like sports gambling, poker, blackjack, stock trading, those types of things, I think that those are the early precursors a lot of times to entrepreneurship. It is being okay with risk, saying, okay, I understand that this is risky. I understand that I have to put money and effort and time into this. And I know that there's no expected return on the other side of it. And for myself, I know that to be true. And so I was obsessed with gambling, sports gambling, whatever, cards. I would bet on cockroaches if it paid out. I don't care. Maybe I could have been a handicapper somewhere, or I could have worked for a casino somewhere and learned how that side of the industry works. In my early 20s, I actually met a handicapper. He works for one of the big casinos. or worked at the time, and he handicapped baseball. It was actually, man, did we just sit there? We were like supposed to be playing darts, and we did play darts. Where he was playing darts, I was getting drunk, and all I did was I just chewed this guy's ear out for the entire night. We spent like 6 hours in there, and I just couldn't stop talking because I thought it was endlessly fascinating. But that's a job, but I just didn't know, right? How do you know what you don't know? And how do you make a plan to get that job if you don't know that that job exists?